going on, world family? Welcome to another episode of Journey of the Mindset. Today, I have somebody with us that's dope as heck. You guys are going to learn a lot from her today. In today's episode, we're talking about our years in college and the years after college. And today, I have a special guest. I brought in family for this one. I had to bring in the reinforcements. So without further ado, let me introduce y'all to my niece, Jada. Welcome to Journey of the Mindset.
Thank you. Hello, how are you guys?
We are doing well. I'll answer on behalf of the people. I just want to say that I'm happy that you decided to come on to my podcast. It's only been a few years. I appreciate you being here. I'm gonna throw a little bit of shade, but definitely happy that you're here. This season is definitely, we're talking about education, and when I first thought about this season, you were somebody that came into my thoughts, and I said, you know what, I would definitely like to hear your experience on college, which you graduated already, right?
Yes, I did.
All right, so we want to hear a little bit about your college journey, and then what happened when you left college. Like, what was life like? So just tell us a little bit about you before we start diving into some of these questions that we got over there.
So my name is Jada. I am an entrepreneur, or a starting entrepreneur. African American. I'm gay. I make candles, lip gloss, soaps, salt scrubs, anything that you can, cleanse your body with or moisturize. I want to do it. I want to make people happy, and yeah.
So we're going to dive into all of that stuff. The thing that I definitely want to ask you is, making candles, was that the reason why you decided to go to college? Like, did you go to a special college for that? Or was that something that you picked up on when you went to college?
So I began making candles and soap. Originally, I started with soap. I started making that when I was in college. I was a junior in college, and I decided, hey, like, this seems kind of cool. Let me try it out and see if I like it or not.
So you found your passion while you was in college?
Yes, I did.
All right, so now let's begin this. Let's start it this way. One, what college did you attend, and why did you choose that college?
So I attended Franklin Pierce University, all the way in New Hampshire. The reason why I decided to choose that school, one, because there was no SAT. I didn't have to take any SAT to go into that college.
Oh, you chose the easy way. So you chose because you didn't have to go through the testing, is what you're saying.
I'm not, depending on what testing, like what kind, if I'm interested in the testing and I'm really love wholeheartedly want to do it, then I'm really good at testing. But if it's something that I'm not interested in, then I'm not really too keen on the testing stuff. So yeah, I chose, if you could say, the easy way out. But another reason why I chose it, because it was a small school, it was out of state, it was somewhere that I wanted to learn, because it was a small kind of, I guess you could say, outgoing. There was a lot of nice people there. I just love the environment out there, rather than, being in New York. And, I'm close to family as it is. So I was just like, let's try something that's outside of my comfort zone. So
you chose New Hampshire. So some of y'all that don't know, it is cold as heck out there during the wintertime.
Yes.
So I went out there one time to visit you. I think there was a family there, something like that. And it wasn't during that season where things was really crazy cold, but it was a little bit of a chilly day. I do want to say this. One, how did you adjust to that weather difference? I know it's not a big difference, but how did you adjust to that? Because I can tell you one thing about my niece. I don't know what happened to her up there, but she doesn't wear jackets. It is freezing right now. Today we're having a little snowstorm, but she does not believe in jackets at all. So I want to know, how did you adjust to that new climate change from here to over there in New Hampshire?
So New Hampshire is way colder, way colder, because up north is closer to Canada. That adjust, I don't know. I always liked the cold. It was always my thing. That was just something that was just kept me comfortable. So once I went to New Hampshire, it was cold when I first started. It was like really cold. I would really bundle up. But then after a while, you're moving around, you're going to classes and everything else. You start getting warm, you start getting hot and stuff, and then you want to, almost unbundle everything that you already bundled in. So then you just don't want to wear a coat. It's just like, all right, I can't wear a coat. I got to wear a sweater. So I'm always about hoodies and sweaters. That's all I wear for the most part. Unless it's really, really cold where I can't take it, then that's where you probably will catch me wearing a coat, but very unlikely.
Let's dive in a little bit into your college career.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is it that you wanted to be? I know that you chose the college because you wanted to take the easy way out, but what is it that did the college have a specific subject that you said, hey, you know what, this falls in line with the journey that I'm trying to go on?
So, my journey, my original journey, and still trying to stick to what I want to do is law enforcement. That's what I majored in.
You want to be a police?
I do want to be a police.
You want to be a police officer?
I do.
All right.
I wanted to be a police officer. One reason because my motto is I want to change, if not a whole world, but at least one person's mindset on not all police officers are bad. We have this, especially as African American people and minority people in general. We have this big thing on police officers are all bad, they don't care about us, and everything else like that. But my opinion, I care about people, and I want to save lives. I want to make people happy. I want to give the joy back to the community in a way. And that, I feel like, is one of the ways that I've always wanted to as a young child. I've always wanted to do that. So something that just always stays in my mind is I want to change at least one person's mindset on not all police officers are bad, because the news portrays all of the bad police officers and bad things that happen, but they're not portraying the good things that police officers do or just people in general do, and I feel like maybe I could be that person to change the community or just in general, just change people's mindset.
So your major in college was criminal justice?
Yes.
What were some of the classes that intrigued you, like you really enjoyed?
So a lot of the classes that I liked, it was mainly computer classes.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really enjoyed that. That's my biggest. If I were to go back to college, I would definitely go into the IT part of things just to advance my career. But the computer stuff, and I loved understanding how people's mindsets are. Just like I took psychology as one of my credits in school.
You know what's funny is that so I went to college. My original plan was to be a police officer as well, so I went for criminal justice. And as I started to take those college courses, I started to run into psychology, criminology, things of that nature. And those things started to intrigue me a lot more than becoming a police officer. So, for instance, once I started to get into a lot of our psychology classes, I started to learn a lot more about how the brain functions. Mm-hmm. And that intrigued me a lot more. So I wanted to be, that's what I kind of wanted to change my major to. Then I learned about criminology, where you focus a lot more on the behavior of, murderers, people that commit crimes and things of that nature. So when I seen that those two connect, and I'm like, oh, I can still stay in the criminal justice world and do that, then I kind of wanted to just pursue that and go over to John Jay. John Jay is just a magnificent college that everybody wants to go to that's in the field of law. Yep. In New York City. But didn't mean to cut you off on that one, but I just think that it's very important that sometimes while we're moving through our journey in college, that we get these elective classes and different type of classes that we have to take in order for us to be able to move on to the next levels. And you'll start to find some of those things achieving, and some of us may want to change our major. But that's not what happened with you. You continued on through that criminal justice journey. So what happened throughout that time when you were learning all of these different classes and then you wound up graduating? What did you wind up pursuing?
So when I was just going through the classes, I enjoyed a lot of my teachers. Some of my teachers are a little bit harder than others, which also taught me one big strategy just being outside of school. Like, people can't save you, people are not going to help you with the bigger things. They'll help you to an extent, and you have to put the work in. There's no, I can't, I'm not going to, because you have to do it, because you already put the time and effort in. And for me in school, it was really, really hard at some times where I would just sit down and cry and, go through these phases of my life that have, showed me how to be a grown person in general. And also, being in school also taught me how to be a grown up a little younger than other people, because I was outside of my comfort zone. I'm not home, and my parents aren't like taking care of me. So I have to take care of myself. I have to drive. I have to buy my own food. I have to make sure that I'm doing my work on time, make sure I'm giving myself time to sleep and everything else in between, and sports and everything. That was a little hard, but I finally adjusted and got a rhythm and a schedule on how I can do certain things. So
I definitely want for anybody that's listening to hear a little bit of the tips and tools that you use to keep yourself, accountable, and keeping yourself disciplined. Because one thing I definitely heard you say is that you also play sports. So what if there's any time management tools that you use or any discipline techniques that you use, can you please share that with us? Because I know that there's somebody out there right now that's about to walk on that journey of college or transitioning out of college, but definitely want them to be fed with some tools and tips on what you used.
So when I was in school, I'm a person that's very strict on myself, as we beat up ourselves more than anybody else. So with that being said, instead of me being sad and mopey and angry and everything else, I use that in a good way. I use my strictness to be like, okay, I have to organize myself, because if I don't organize myself, everything is just going to fall apart. So with me organizing myself, I had to write down a lot of things, write down either in a schedule on my phone or on like a board that I had at the time when I was in school, where I would write down, okay, this day I'll have this class, this day I'll have this class, and I put the times on when I have that time frame. There were times where I needed tutors, and 100% will always say, make sure if you're not doing well or you just don't get the class, tutors work wonders. A lot of people are scared with tutors, but if you don't get it, use that tutor. Please use that tutor.
You know why I'm laughing? Because I'm like, that's one thing I never understood when it came out of college. I don't know if people get on that level where they're just like, yo, you know what? I'm not going to go seek out a tutor. But I was one of those too. I'm like, I didn't want to be seen with a tutor. You know what I'm saying? But having a tutor in college doesn't necessarily mean that you're like, I don't know, maybe people think that they're stupid. That's not what it is. It's that you're just seeking out somebody for that extra help. And I don't know what it is on that college level. A lot of people don't want to go seek that that help. And yo, you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it. I'm sorry. You can continue on.
No, it's very much needed. I definitely agree on that. When I first was skeptical on a tutor, I was like, I feel like I'm dumb for asking for a tutor, or I feel like maybe schooling is not for me, because I need a tutor. But after a while, I started going into the classes. It started to help and bring up my grades a lot quicker, a lot easier, and it helped me feel more confident about myself. Like, I can do this. It's okay to ask for help. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's okay to ask for help. But, you also have to help yourself as well. You have to want the help, So, yeah.
Tell me your funniest story in college.
I have plenty of stories. So, the first 2 years I was in college, I had a roommate on the first year. Didn't work out, we didn't get along, and it's okay to not get along with your roommates. So the first 2 years I didn't have any roommates at all. The second 2 years I had roommates. They were my rugby roommates, And my last year was the funniest, kinda, to me, because I had a roommate. We lived on, like, they called it an efficiency, which was like the basement kind of the building. And I was doing a pep band as well. So I went to a game, a basketball game. I played, my music and everything else, which I play the drums, by the way. And
Doo-doo-doo.
yeah.
That was corny. I don't know why I did it.
And my roommate at the time, she's not a really good cook at all. She was just new. She's just learning, like we all are, learning how to cook. And I came in and I'm smelling something. I'm like, why does it smell like something is on fire or burnt? So come to find out, she put her food, I guess she was making some kind of casserole. She put her food, she was asking me about how to broil. I told her, you got to put this thyme on very, when you put the broil on, you can't leave it in there like regular baking. She ran out of the room. Luckily, our, fire alarm wasn't working at the time. She ran out of the room. As soon as you run out the room, down the hallway, it's straight outside. It leads straight outside. And she ran outside with it on fire. It wasn't like it was burnt. It was on fire. She ran, and I don't know how she got it to blow out or whatever, but some way, somehow, it was cold outside, so it must have blew out. And then she came back in with the burnt food, asking me if I wanted it. I
Absolutely not.
No. So, yeah, that was a big, funny story that I won't ever forget. It was just a funny thing, We all learning how to cook, so,
I think that's fun.
I've never burnt anything. I never caught anything on fire, but everybody's not the best at everything. Right?
I think that's the part of college that we don't really talk about, right? We don't really think about. A lot of college students are new to this.
Mm-hmm.
They lived at home with parents that cooked. They came home, some of them already had, their food. They didn't have to worry about lunch and putting together lunch and all this other stuff. But I think that's part of the stories that we need to definitely shed light on and say, you're new to this new process of cooking and things of that nature. You're going to make mistakes, but you definitely need to seek and research YouTube on how to cook certain meals. Right. That right there,
yes,
that was crazy.
Yes.
Right there, that's crazy. There's another gentleman, he's on another episode this season. His name is Lamar Brown. He spoke about, he actually, we did a podcast last year where he spoke up. He was a senior year in high school, and he was just talking about his years in high school and how he feels about transitioning over to college. And then he talks about his first half of his college year. So if you guys haven't watched that episode, I'm pretty sure I put it out before this one. Go back and check it out. His name is Lamar Brown, but he talks a little bit about his experiences making friends and things of that nature, and getting along with people. So there's a lot of funny stories in that episode as well too. I do want to ask you, because you did give us a breakdown of the different things that you're currently doing now. So one, you graduated out of college. Let's hear, what was that GPA? What was that grade point average that you graduated with?
I think it was maybe close to a 3.0, if not a 3.0. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And I enjoyed every single
Wait, you didn't like that was my celebration.
Oh.
No?
I loved it.
I might cut that out.